I would like to know who know Francis of Assisi here. You know. How about the others? No concept.
Heard the name.
What name? Yeah. You know when he born? He was born in 1182 or 1181. It's more than 800 years ago in Assisi. This is in the middle part of Italy. And when he was born, his father was working in France, selling and buying fabrics. He's a merchant, a successful merchant, his father, and got lots of money. And when Francis was born, his father was in France, and his mother would like to call him John the Baptist. But when his father returned, he didn't like the name John, and he called him Francis. Francis, from his youth, his whole family would like to have good reputation for their family, and also they need to be well known among the city. So Francis have a banquet nearly every night with the other youths, and he's the host. He was the host, and he not the others to pay. And so lots of youths went there, eat and drink and sing. It's happy, and he's famous, of course. But at that time, 800 years ago, if you would like to have a higher social status, just have money is no use. You need to do something, or if you are a noble class, then you can. But if you are not, what can you do at that time? They need to do something. At that time, they would like to become a knight, a warrior, something like that. And so there's always battles between cities. Francis from Assisi, and there's a bigger city next to Assisi called Perugia. I do not know whether you know about Perugia or not. Today, Assisi, you don't know also. It's in the middle part of Italy. And one city, Assisi, support the Pope, and Perugia support the Emperor of the Roman Holy Roman Empire. They fight against each other, and so Francis would like to be famous, to be change his status, so he joined the war against Perugia, but he was captured. He lost the war, and was seized by the Perugians and in the prisons for a year, something like that. And when he was in the prison, he started to think about what he to do next after that. If he still want to be famous, or to be something like that. And nearly a year later, his father paid for him to get him back to Assisi. And at that moment onward, he's looking or still thinking about what to do next, and so cannot make his decision. And some of his friends and also his father asked him to join the crusade. When he went to Rome, just left Assisi, and he heard a call from God and asked what Francis would like to do, to serve the God, to serve the master, or to serve the servant. The master is God and the servant is the others. And so Francis said he would like to serve the God. Also, if he would like to do this and to get famous, it's better than to serve for the others. And so he returned to Assisi without saying anything. His father was get mad at the time. As you know, his father bought a new weapon, the horse, etc., clothes, etc., to him, and announced to the whole city of Assisi that my son was going to join the crusade and will be back as a hero. But just a few days later, he returned. Nothing. In fact, at that moment, Francis would like to find his future form of life. And once he was in a ruined chapel known as San Damiano in Assisi, just outside the city. He heard a call from the crucifix over there. That crucifix is now kept in Assisi. And the crucifix said to Francis that asked Francis to rebuild my church. What do you understand by rebuild my church in a ruined chapel? Francis supposed God asked him to rebuild the chapel, and he so at that moment his father was out of town, and so he went to the warehouse of his father. So all fabrics to get the money and then donate to the father in charge of the chapel. And his father got mad when returned. And the warehouse was empty and the money was gone. And afterward, he asked Francis to return money, and Francis asked for help from the bishop. And finally, Francis said that he will return everything back to his father, even his cloth and his status, everything. So he started to live a life to have nothing with him. That's one of the most important of Franciscan is today. We need to have nothing if we would like to live in the way of Francis. That means that we cannot have any money. We can, just as what the gospel say, Jesus said that when we go 2 by 2 outside to preach, we need not to bring anything, nothing, no money in the pocket, no shoes, even no shoes. That's the way of the way of life that Francis was looking for, and that's the at the very beginning. That's start, and then, but finally, Francis found out the word of rebuild my church is not to rebuild the wounded chapel. Although after he returned the money back to his father, and then he started to rebuild the church by his hands, by stones, and also to ask to beg for the material to do the reconstruction of the ruined chapel. Actually, there's a free chapel rebuilt by Francis at the time around Assisi. The first one is known as Portuncula. Is the church, the chapel of San Damiano and Portuncula is now still exists, and it's just very You can, if you visit Assisi, you will find that very well. And afterward, he found that to rebuild the church means rebuild my church is rebuild the whole Roman Catholic Church, which is which was has something wrong at the moment. It's no more a church of Christ. It's no more church for the poor, but that's a church for the richest. You know, at that time, the Pope is Innocent III. Do you have anything about Innocent III? Innocent III is the Pope who had the greatest power. I think, suppose in the whole Western history at that moment. The King of England, King of France, King of Germany, everyone, also including the Holy Roman Emperor, need to follow his words. If the king or emperor is something against him, they will be excommunicated. That means that he has no cannot exist at that time. And that means one I suppose is the king of France or England, something like would like to divorce and remarry another, and he stopped and said, if you do so, you are no more king or emperor. This work at the moment. Yes, at the time, church is just also the cathedral over there, or although what we call basilica. It's very, very beautiful. Today you can go there, and the Lateran, the Basilica Lateran is very, very beautiful. The top is with gold plated. The whole still you can find it today. At that time, there's many poor people, and Francis found that it's not the way of the church to be like that. So he, in 1209, when some of his friends and others found that Francis once a wealthy youth and have nothing, but still living a happy life, and he rebuilt a chapel, but he smiled the whole day and he seems very happy. So all the others wonder, and they try to know what is happening. And after discussing with him, and some followed him from there on. And when he and the other 11 companions, they get as a group, they went to Rome to ask the Pope, to ask Innocent III for permission to have they have to have a new group, to have a order of living according to the gospel like that, but under the Roman Catholic Church. Actually, there's lots of some kind of group like Francis living, but they refuse to admit the Pope as the leader. They just choose to leave the church, the Roman Catholic Church. But Francis chose to stay in Roman Catholic Church to live a different life, just to show as an example to the church that this is the real life of Christian. This is the background. There's some information about St. Francis of Assisi, and when he got the permission from the Pope on 1209, and then he returned back to Assisi and attract more and more people, and thousands or 10,000 people joined. And so afterward we formed just an organization where we formed the order, what we call the order is a group of us Franciscan. We need to have our rule and regulation, etc., etc. And we need to have a general chapter, as where we call general meeting, annual general meeting, something like that. And in Francis become famous at the time already, as he lives a different life from the church, from the hierarchy, from the Pope, from there. And also he loved everything, all creations. He loved sun, moon, wind, etc., etc., and also all kind of animal, and also suppose is in his bibliography, he preached to the birds, etc., and make friends with wolves. But what we are talking about, is his contact with the Sultan. And last year, just as we have a documentary here talking about he met the Sultan in Egypt. But before that, do you remember at what time Francis met Sultan? 1220. 1219, yeah, 1219 in Damietta. But before that, we have a general chapter in Pentecost in 1219. You know, Pentecost is May, June, something like that at the time. And in the general chapter, he sent brothers out from Italy to other places to preach, and some friars were sent to Morocco at that chapter, at that meeting. And by that summer, he went to Damietta to meet the crusade over there, to ask them, according to the documentary, and not to fight with Sultan. And he failed, and then he proceeded to the camp of the Sultan and got agreement with the Sultan. But the one who in charge of the crusade, a bishop, refused the agreement or the peaceful treaty. In fact, what the Sultan offered, this is the fifth crusade Francis participated in. The emperor is Frederick II, who was supposed to lead to the whole crusade to fight with the Sultan at that time, but the emperor never appeared in the fifth crusade, and so the crusade was actually led by the bishop. And in the sixth crusade, Frederick II excommunicated by the church or by the Pope already. He led 3,000 soldiers went to Jerusalem and just walked into the city, as he made agreement also with the same Sultan. Have the same peaceful treaty with Francis, but this time is signed by Frederick II. He has the verse 3 to 7, not Francis at the time. But at that time, the church did not accept the peaceful agreement. And then you notice that in 1219, Francis went to Egypt to meet with Sultan, and then at what time those sent to Morocco was start? When? 1220. 1220. At the time, I do not know when they when those friars were killed by the Muslims at that time. Afterward, when Francis heard about this, I do not know. Today we have WhatsApp, etc., etc. You can get the news immediately, but I think at least a few months later, Francis can know. But then, today we are taught as a Franciscan that what did Francis said? What did Francis say at that moment when he heard that some friars were killed by the Muslim? That's what was written. Now at least do I have 2 friars minor, and the other Franciscans just told me that means that Francis would like to be a martyr, would like to be killed. He was not killed when he met the Sultan, so he appreciates some friars were killed by the Muslims. It is what suppose we learned from the others. But I wonder whether this is true or not. I found out this wording is not recorded in any bibliography of Francis on the early writing about Francis, and it's found until 15th century in some writing. This the first point. I think it is something strange, and so I wonder whether Francis did say such wordings. And the other thing is that in 1221, 1 year later, those were killed, and then we had to, as the community was so great that there's more than 10,000 friars, Franciscan. I mean, then we need to have a more detailed rules and regulations, and so Francis had written a new order, new regulation, rule and regulation, something like that. In 1209, he just spoke to the Pope and asked for permission, and have not written down the rules and regulations. And in 1221, he wrote it down, and there's a whole chapter concerning how to preach in the to the Muslims. We cannot just go there, go to what mentioned by the documentary to preach over there, but just went there and live as an ordinary people until the others ask you, are you a Christian or a Catholic? Then you can admit, and if God wills, then we can preach to them. But what was said, those being killed in Morocco, they just go there, they just went there and then went to preach against the Muslim, and that's what we said is just would like to be killed. That's not actually, it's not what we expect as a martyr. Martyr is you need to stay firm for your belief or for your faith, for your religion, but not to challenge the other, to ask them to kill you. What did the those friars did in Morocco, which was described that they just try to challenge the others, challenge the Muslims. And so I wonder, is this the will of Francis also? What did he think about when he heard about this? Maybe he when he sent them to Morocco, he didn't think about it. But when he went to Egypt to meet with the Sultan over there, he may change his mind. And also, I said at the very beginning, he lost his battle from the very beginning with the war, in the war with the Perugia. He may think about this also. Maybe he have faced the question of life or death in the war. Maybe he was nearly dead, nearly being killed at that moment. So he didn't like to have war anymore afterward. Maybe nobody talk about this. But it is sure that Francis would like to make peace with the Muslim rather than to fight with them in the crusade. That's his what he tried to do, although it is not he was not success. But then what he would say, there's he has the two friars minor afterward when those friars were killed in Morocco. Somebody said that maybe he just said it's two friars just not the word of Francis saying, it's just as a writer in the 15th century. And we interpret in this way afterward, up to today. And also as what talked in the documentary that, at that time, the whole Europe, they are against the Jews, against Muslim, and also in the 1215, the Council of the Lateran, the Pope Innocent III had added some terms to order those Jews in Europe, or at least in Italy, must wear some uniform, something like that, so that the other Catholic keep a distance from those Jews, even Jews, and the Muslim they just suppose it's not human being. They just treat them as not human being. That's why they just would like to kill all without any mercy. And also then afterward, we have a final a rule and regulation in 1223, and they also mention again, those brothers would like to preach in the Muslim area, or like to preach those people, we need to get approval from the minister. Only those appropriate to go to preach in Muslim to the Muslims. Only those appropriate. That means if they find it is not appropriate, then those friars were not allowed to go. What does this mean? And today we also, I do not know whether you know the situation now today in Syria. We have friars over there, seal friars over there. But recently, one of our friars was kidnapped twice. They asked for money, and we need to consider whether we still keep over there or just to live there as a witness, or just to provide money for those kidnappers. This is a question for us to face today. This is a fact. But the point is that Francis did not like to fight with the Muslim. Why he would like to send Friars to Morocco? What was he really think about when he heard that those Friars were killed? According to the sequence, I just have a big query. And what we was taught by other Franciscans, we just said that Francis would like to be a martyr, would like to go there to be killed by the Egypt, but he failed. Who say this? Not Francis himself. It's those who write his bibliography. And unfortunately, from after the death of Francis, and he cannot make any argument, or he cannot say this not like to be a martyr. Instead, he would like to be a peacemaker instead, just like to promote peace between Christians and also the Muslims, but not to try to convert just purely just to convert the Muslim to Christians. And maybe he would like to coexist with the Muslim, according to what I understand, as he appreciates very much the Muslims pray five times a day. Suppose, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Afterward he would like more friars to pray at least 3 times, morning, noon, and evening. And just it is similar to just try to learn from the Muslims. And so I think for us, we would like to live peacefully with the Muslim rather than to challenge to the others. Of course, we would say what we believe is the best to get how to say we can be safe according to what we was taught, that what Jesus taught us is the best. But if the others just doing something like Jesus taught teaching is it's the same. Everybody can be saved. Not only follow the way of Jesus of Catholic, but of course we think it is an easier way for us to do so. And so what I like to say today is that Francis is trying to follow Jesus in a way to make peace, as what you say. Jesus is also a peacemaker, and Francis was said just to be the one who liked Jesus the most. So he would like to be live out the real Christian life. So he would like to make peace, not the others. He would like to preach what he preaches, peace rather than to fight. Especially today, I think it is very important. The Christian and also the Muslim also just suppose we cannot keep peace with one another in some places, and also with the Jews also, etc., etc. But I don't think Jesus asked us to do this, and also Francis showed us this is not the way. Rather, even though he cannot, he is difficult. He had great difficulty in a conversation with the Sultan at that moment, but he still tried his best to get the peaceful agreement. Something strange is that the church the Catholic Church at that moment did not accept it. And today, we also would not like to talk about what was happened at that moment. The Fifth Crusade and the Sixth Crusade, etc., etc. As you said, and from the very beginning, the Second Crusade is the Christian against the Orthodox, and then that brought lots of split, and also church become split into at least two at that moment, and this out of the control, you may say, but we actually we can do something. We could do something if we like to do. But at that moment, the Pope refused to do so, and Francis had no power to do so. And what we can do at that moment, what Francis could do at that moment, just to live in as an example. He seldom to argue with the Pope, argue with the Bishop, just live peacefully with the others. He asked his followers to live peacefully with. But in fact, inside the Franciscan, there's a different opinion also. As I said at the very beginning, what Francis would like to live is a life without anything, possess nothing. But only a few of us can follow his this life. They just said this is the way of Francis, but not the Franciscans. It's ridiculous. You would like to follow Francis, but not follow everything, just selectively. So somebody else said that we need to study Bible, and so at the time Bible is not cheap. It's quite expensive. If you have a Bible, it's very it's somewhere of us. And then we need to have a house for study. Need that and need that. And so some friars become has something different from what Francis expect. But when Francis found that he could do nothing also. He would like all friars to follow his way, but he also heard a call from God at that moment to ask whether the order of Franciscan belong the order of Friar Minors. We are called, actually our name is not Franciscan orders, order of Friars Minors. Friars means fraternity. Minors is more. And the order belong to Francis or belong to God? It's belong to God, then God will take care about it. And Francis not to take care about it. Maybe it's not exactly the way what Francis want, but that's the way God will let it exist. So we argue for it for more than 800 years up to today. We still are asking what is the real meaning of Francis? What is real poverty? Of what's real have to possess nothing? Each one of us may have different opinion. So as also we have each of us maybe have different opinion about the peace of Francis today. And so maybe you can find some friars who like not like to discuss with the Muslim. I don't know what is happening in Syria or other places. In Morocco, we still have friars over there, but we cannot preach over there, just live over there. Some of us would like to also have to live over there to just teach people over there, something like that. But some refuse to do this, and some would like to have, to argue with maybe rather than to talk, to have a conversation with the others. it's just like when Francis is still alive, every one of us have actually our own thinking how to interpret the life of poverty, the life of peace as Francis, but not exactly as what Francis expects and not as what Francis would like to live. So I do not know whether you are you know the situation now. But if say all of us can follow the way of Francis doing, then the situation is very different. But today, we all of us also Franciscan are not for justice and peace sake. For example, in Hong Kong, only a few of us would like to participate. Most of us would rather than to do other jobs. This is what the problems we are facing about. Rather to serve, maybe we can serve the rich people, or we can serve the poor people. We can make more friends with Muslim brothers and sisters. As what you said, as any other Friars will come. I can't say so. I do not know. In generally, just Brother William and me are more interested in these topics, and so we would like to have more conversation and more communication with the others, Jews, etc., etc. In fact, in 911, after the crash of the Twin Tower, we try to have make a prayer together with the Muslim. We have organized such activities, but afterward, nothing. That's what for myself, I was disappointed also. But at the time, I was just a secular Franciscan, not joining the First Order. And afterward, we have no more communication. I mean, with the Muslim community or Jewish community, etc. Although Francis, I suppose Francis would like us to do this, so as to keep, try to cooperate together to ask, to show to the world that we are friends all together, and also we can make peace and we live peace together. Although we believe, I believe something different. We are Muslim and Catholic, but we are still brothers and sisters. And yeah, I just would like to talk about something like this. If any questions first?
I appreciate that St. Francis is a great man, but do you think that what we need to follow is God instead of a person? A person is different from God.
Yes.
So it's not follow the Francis as the model. How Francis interpreted peace, how Francis interpret love. It is God want us how to.
Yes, exactly.
To how to display God's love, display God's peace.
Yes.
Yes. So if everybody just like St. Francis can stay, then it will be a set of people. Then you will differentiate yourself from others. Whenever you want to be a set of people, then you will have conflicts.
If we insist my own way.
Yeah.
As what I said, Francis will never argue with the others. He just live his own ways. If you appreciate, okay. If you don't, never mind.
And why do you say it's Jesus? Jesus, we follow Jesus' model.
Yes, 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 yes.
He won't argue, he just have peace and love instead of Francis?
Yes. Francis is not asking us to follow him. He is following Jesus also.
Yes.
He cannot be as great as Jesus,
Yes.
for sure. But he's another model, just another model. We can have many models in Catholic Church also. Francis is just one. You can follow Ignatius. You can follow Mother Teresa. Different kind of living.
But what I think is the beauty of to believe God. What I mean is
Yeah.
we have he's still alive, then we can communicate with him.
Yeah.
Instead of a dead man. Francis is a dead man. Mother Teresa is a dead man. What we believe is Jesus is still alive and he can still communicate with us through God, through the Spirit. So what we do is we need to still communicate with God every time, every moment.
Yes,
And His
yes,
Spirit is with us.
yes. I 100% agree with you. But for us, we can't. We can't be follow Jesus in every way. I think. Just in Jesus has so many teachings. Jesus would like us to do many things, and not. I don't think he would like. He's asking us to do everything. We have each of us have different talent. Francis is talent. He can live a life like that. Mother Teresa can live like that. Not everyone. So there's different form of living. Just as what you said, is as a Franciscan, that we appreciate with each other. We just live one of the way we think this is appropriate to us, appropriate to me. If I am a Franciscan, then I need to live out what a Franciscan to be, but not live as an Ignatius life of living. It's different. He like to study hard, to have to preach, to teach, etc., etc. But for us, we need to find out what is our main task. You can say so. What I said at last is that today we are losing our way. We do not know what we are doing now. Franciscan in Hong Kong, we have 2 secondary school, 3 primary school, and also 1 parish, and also a student biblicum. This our main object is for Franciscan. Suppose we need to work for the poor, for the margin. Francis worked for the lepers when he's alive. His main job is to work for the lepers, those being neglected. Today, a true Franciscan, according to me, we need to work to find out the minority, those who will be marginalized in Hong Kong, if we can. But I can tell you we are not. And Jesus would like us to do this as a Franciscan, but not as Catholic or a Christian. As there's in the society, there's many different part of and different group of people. Each of us have his own role, and suppose cannot be replaced by the others. So we, just as what you said, we try to follow Jesus in the way that I can, and that's what my talent got. But if I choose to be a Franciscan, then I need to try my best to live that way. But sometimes it's not my plan. Just as what God said, told Francis that he has his own plan. I'm not called. Maybe I'm not called to work for the minority in Hong Kong or the marginalized people in Hong Kong. Yes, I need to work in the student people today, and I was not planning to do so myself, but I was put in that position, so I follow. I would ask also if I'm not if I'm a Franciscan, but I just work with documents, with the books. Is it the real way of Franciscan? And also, where are we? Do you know where is Cedar River? In Jardins Lookout. Very expensive places. It's not poor. It's ridiculous. And when we tell the other that we are Franciscan, but we are fiery in Jardin Lookout and also Kowloon Top and smoke. Then we need to find out always to find out. I wrote it today. Whether we need to stay over there, but it is we need to do the job of translating the Bible from the original text to Chinese. This one of the job maybe God assigned to us. You know, before 1964, no Chinese Bible Catholic, at least no Catholic Chinese Bible, and Father Allegra start to do this on 1935, long before the church request to do so. He took 33 years to make the final version. If he start on 1964, I don't know when can we have the Bible in Chinese. And is this the job of Franciscan? God knows, only God knows. And Father Allegra followed his calling from God, and we would like to today we try out to find out our calling today in God, from God. I make contact with here, and I suppose I need to abroad to communicate more, and also to discuss more with the Muslim or other Jew. I'm very happy that there's different kind of religious here. Before I just talk to the Catholic. But today we have friends in Muslim, in Jews, and also without any belief. It's no problem. We need to understand each other more, and we need to accept and appreciate the others more, and so we can maybe in the future we can do something when I do not know when we need to do something in the future together against those those thinking today outside that Muslim is not good or something like that. Then we need to let most of the people to accept that all religions can live peacefully together. That's what I would like to do. But I do not know. It's just a little fried. What can I do? But if I have a chance, anyway, I'm not good in English. I'm not a good speaker. Then I try. I would like to get this opportunity just to promote the thinking of Francis, his way of making peace. Of course, Jesus showed us the perfect way in the cross, but Francis showed us one more way, not only more than not more than, just one of the way to interpret the peace of Jesus in this world, and maybe we can do something. Maybe I do not know. All of us can suggest something that we can do in the future, especially when there's so many terrorists in just promoting also in other crusade against Muslim and Catholic and Christian, etc., to fight against with each other. I'm really worried about this misunderstanding when we talk about Muslim, the conflict between Muslim and Catholic. Most of the people, I suppose, in general, they just treat each other as enemy. It's very dangerous.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm just wondering about you mentioned Ignatius, and I was just wondering like about Dominicans and Jesuits. Do you like why you became a Franciscan, and you get along? You work together with the other groups like Dominicans and Jesuits?
Dominicans, Saint Dominic lived the same time of Francis. I suppose they know each other. They knew each other, but they concentrate mainly to preach, and they need to study. And according to what I know, is Francis said that we need not to process anything. We can live, and God will take care of us. So when he has his first chapter, there's more than nearly 7,000 friars joined the chapter. He prepared nothing, no meal, no house. How can you imagine? Dominic just wonder whether it worked or not. How can a meeting joined by 7,000 people without any planning, no meal, no accommodation, etc. He went to see and he found it worked, so they followed. And that's all. But they are not doing the same way as us anyway. They would like to study more in theology, etc. But for the Ignatius, it's another story. And they also concentrate more in education today. For Franciscan, or for we have no special target of. For Ignatius, they have a famous school in Hong Kong. We have school in Hong Kong just for accidental. We are not prepared, so well planned. At that moment, in need, then we try to provide education for some people, and afterward, we have it. But for example, for Ignatius, they come here just to build the school. That's what they have their very clear object. But for us, we just try to, as what I said, we try to locate where's our target in this place. So we may miss. Actually, Franciscan was the first one who went to Hong Kong is a Franciscan long time ago, but just transit and went to China, work over there. We went to Hong Kong only by 1948. Why? You know? The studio will become in Beijing at that moment. And then it's not possible to run in Beijing anymore after the Communist Party controlled the whole China. So they moved from Beijing to Hong Kong. So at that moment, what the Franciscans was doing was translating Bible at that moment. And the other friars, and some of the friars, work in the Mount San. You know Mount San? That's a miner. and the miners need help, and so some of our friars went there, and that's the only thing we did at that moment. But afterward, some moved to Taiwan, some stayed in Hong Kong, and some at the 50 years ago when they come, they found that the small children no school and near Chiwan San and over there, and so we built a school over there, and then afterward we have school today. But we find we can't manage it today. But we need to keep it. That's the problem. And we have less scholar, just like Father Alec, he know Chinese, Hebrew, Greek, etc., etc. They can have many knowledge about Bible. Today we have just a few. It is very difficult for us to manage a studio biblical today. Even we have a library that's well with old books. The oldest books, 1588. We have books for more than 300 or 400 years over there. This not work for library today, but what can we do? We have nobody else to take care of this. I just try to make it tidy. From last year, which is not touched by any others from year 2000. There's a problem. There's only nearly 12 friars now in Hong Kong. You need to take care of a parish. Yes, you also wonder whether we need to take care of parish. But there's a parish of Franciscan from our friars before. So we need to do it, and we need to find out the solution, and we need to find out what we need to do. Maybe later we find that it's so important that we must make conversation with the Muslim and also with Jews, etc. It's a main task of us. Then we need to rearrange our task to have more time, to spend more time in this work. But today, only few people would like to do so, and also even me have only little time to do so, and not great ability to do so. But if this is God's will, I think if this is God's will, we may have more cooperation in the future.